Alright, and so here we are looking at the inside of the cab. As you can see, there is a lot of amazing detail that you would find in the cab of a real steam locomotive. On the engineer's side, you've got your throttle, your Johnson bar, which actually does move back and forth. These are your tricocks to check the water level. The only bit of detail that this locomotive kind of lacks is a brake stand, where you would actually have the handle to handle the brakes on the locomotive for you to stop the train. And of course, there are some very detailed seats for your engineer and firemen. And believe it or not, this part over here is the firebox actually does open and close. You just undo that latch, and then you open it up, like that. And then when you apply track power, this box actually has a glowing effect, which simulates that you have a glowing fire in there. Of course, there is no ash pan glow effect, but there is definitely a firebox glow. And apparently, Bachmann definitely gets an A+ for that, because the earlier runs of these never had a firebox glow, but they did have an ash pan glow. And sure enough, as you would run this thing going faster and faster, that glow would get even more intense. I would imagine so. So when you're done looking inside, just close it up and then use this latch to lock it up, like that. Now I'm going to show you how to move the Johnson bar. You pull it up like this, and then you can set it to backwards if you wanted it to go that way, or forwards. It doesn't matter at all. There's even some functions over here to show you how it works, for forwards or backwards. However, the function of the Johnson bar does not interfere one bit with the operation of your engine. Rather, you have it with the electric flow going forwards or backwards. This is all just for show. So it doesn't matter at all. However, even where this goes to, which is known as the Stevenson valve gear, taking a closer look, will need to be lubricated eventually as well. And if you take a closer look here at the sand dome, there is a sanding pipe that goes from here past the crew walkway and down right here to the centered set of drive wheels. Of course, this was used to put sand on the rails in case that the rails should be a little bit slippery. That's what was used to have the rails grip, the wheels grip. Another unique feature about this locomotive, as we take a look under here, is that this third drive wheel axle is not flanged. If you're wondering quickly what a wheel flange is, it's this groove over here that fits on the rail. But as you can see, the third or center drive wheel axle do not have flanges. That way it can get around some curves of track that you have set up real easily. Apparently the curvature required for this locomotive is between 5-inch radius diameters or 8-inch radius diameters. And I strongly recommend you sticking to that 5 to 8-inch radius diameter curve. Because if you have anything less than that, you're going to have to proceed at your own risk. Because at best, you'll either have some really bad overhang, or at worst, the locomotive would just refuse to operate on anything less than the 5 or 8-inch radius curves. Because I gotta tell you, this locomotive has a huge length of boiler. A lot more bigger than any other large-scale locomotive Bachmann has ever produced. If I take you on this aerial view of the engineer's side, you'll see that there's a lever over here that connects to the sand dome. And that's what the engineer would pull when putting sand onto the track. As you can see, it's connected by that golden lever right here. Yep, that golden lever is exactly what the engineer would pull to put sand on the rails if he had to, and everything. Other than that, I'm really blown away by the boiler backhead detail on this locomotive. There's also some really great artwork done on the boiler backhead cab, as well as on the sides of the headlight. There are some pictures of his wife Betty and some other female I don't know either. I also forgot to mention that this part is removable too, in case you had to do some maintenance inside of here. But when you're done doing maintenance, it's an easy snap fit, and that's about it. Beautiful locomotive. I am really in love with this thing. I've actually had this locomotive for quite some time, but I haven't had the right trackage to run it. But I sure do now. Once again, this was a very, very good look at the Bachmann Spectrum Large Scale Emma Nevada by Bachmann. And so very, very shortly, I will have another video up with her up and running. And I'll even show you the ways you can use large-scale train connectors, either an old-fashioned way or a new-fashioned way, whatever you want to call it. But me, I go the old-fashioned way, and so that'll be in the upcoming video. So thank you for enjoying the close-up look at this beautiful large-scale locomotive. And until the next video, this is Cameron at Pinch 808, signing and pinching out. Take care.